Here's one card I know you will not want.
You are quite wrong. 10.
Oh, Himmel.
Hi, boys.
Hi. You caught me with 1,000,000 points.
That's what I counted on.
Are you washing the windows?
Steve says it's psychological warfare, whatever that means.
It's fascinating. Who's the enemy?
Well, Dad's up in his study paying bills, and he's beginning to mumble.
Oh, I know what that means.
Hamburgers, meatloaf, and tuna casserole.
Well, that sounds pretty good to me, considering the fact that I have just written 40 checks totaling something approximating the national debt.
The cost of living is going up.
Which is exactly why our extravagances simply must come down. Now, boys, about your suggestion that I raise your allowance...
We're washing the windows for you, Dad.
They look kind of dirty.
My two little con men hard at work. Well, the answer is no. And while you're at it, the rest of these windows could use washing, too.
Oh, we'd be glad to.
Psychological warfare. Phooey!
Everything has gone up. Well, even the gardening service raised his price again.
Well, we could concrete the backyard and paint it green.
Yeah, and then we could draw lines on it like a tennis court. It would be a status symbol instead of an expense.
I am being serious. Now, that gardener comes twice a week, works about 1 hour each time, and charges us $45 a month.
Well, that is outrageous. I could do as much.
Could you?
Of course I could.
I mean, would you want to? It would save a lot of money.
Well, if it's necessary.
Oh, fine. That's the spirit, Katy. You know, it would be good for you, too. You out of doors, plenty of fresh air, lots of exercise.
Yeah.
Nature is beautiful. You're a very lucky girl.
Yeah. Just call me Lucky Katy.
Farmer's Daughter.
Now, Katy, don't let Mr. Whitworth scare you. I mean, on the surface, he appears to be a bully and a tyrant.
And under the surface?
He is a bully and a tyrant. Mr. Whitworth, I'd like you to meet my friend and neighbor, Mrs. Morley. She'd like to join us here at your gardening school.
Well, sit down, Mrs. Morley. Mrs. Hoyle, your Trachonospora jasmoniidis is infected by spittlebugs.
Ooh. They shall be destroyed. Relentlessly. Ruthlessly.
And promptly. Mrs.
Morley.
Morley, why do you wish to be a student here?
Well, even though I was raised on a farm in Minnesota, I have recently found out I know very little about gardening.
Yes, well, in that case, I suggest that you hire a competent gardener and spend your idle hours distributing food baskets to the worthy poor.
You don't understand. We cannot afford a gardener. I must do the gardening.
And then your garden has my every sympathy.
Do you really mean that?
And I most certainly do.
Well, then, if you care about my garden at all, please help me do right by it.
Yeah. What is this plant?
I haven't the foggiest.
And this shrub?
Heaven knows.
Mrs. Morley, I accept you as a student.
Thank you, Mr. Whitworth.
As your utter ignorance presents a challenge that I cannot ignore.
Dad.
Oh, hello, Steve. What's new?
Oh, nothing. Hey, where'd you get the golf clubs?
Is Katy home?
Yeah. Hey, they're new, aren't they?
Yes.
Boy, these are really something.
Oh, hello.
Well, hello there.
And what did you learn in school today, Katy? Well, everybody's always asking me that.
Well, I learned how to prune, how to identify plants, and to say to my flowers, I love you, but I am your master. Oh, polish your golf clubs or something? They look different.
Well,
They are different. They're new. Well, sort of. I better get started on my homework.
Old clubs wear out?
no, not really.
I thought our watchword was economy.
Oh, it is. But you see, I've had these on order for quite a while.
I see.
Remember the trouble I was having with the short iron game I had? Say, Katy, who's that?
That's Mr. Whitworth, my instructor. He's taking an inventory of our garden. Mr. Whitworth, I'd like for you to meet my husband, Congressman Morleys.
Oh, Congressman.
How do you do, sir? Well, I'll just put these in there. Excuse me.
Won't you come in?
Oh, thank you.
Please sit down. Well, sir, how does our garden look?
Well, it looks, Mrs. Morley, like a disaster area. Oh? Well, of course, that's not surprising, considering with what you have to work. Why, the ancient Greeks had more sophisticated garden tools than yours.
Well, you'll just have to get new ones.
Well, I'll add them to the list.
Oh, that's quite a list.
Well, the plants and trees, fertilizers and mulchers, insecticides, wheelbarrow, pressure sprayer, tools.
I imagine that's going to cost quite a bit.
Oh, about $300.
$300?
That's with my discount.
That expensive?
I noticed in the hall that Mr. Morley had some golf clubs.
Yeah.
Well, for the very same reason that one cannot play golf without decent clubs, one cannot garden without the proper implements.
Please order me everything I need.
Well, and how does our garden grow?
Do you wish the brutal truth?
Well, since you put it that way, I'm not quite sure.
It's in a shocking state of neglect.
Our lawn is screaming for sustenance.
Your roses are exhausted.
Not to mention the daisies.
Your soil is alkaline where it should be acid.
Acid where it should be alkaline.
You're infested with every disease and pest known to the civilized world.
Well, so much for the good news.
And by the way, Mrs. Morley, you and I are going to have a serious talk about snails in the very near future.
I'm looking forward to it.
Mrs. Morley has asked me to order some things.
Well, the idea of our little program...
It's like golf clubs. You need the proper tools.
Oh, yes. Yes, of course. Yes, to do the right job, you do need the correct tools.
Well, good.
Thank you so much, Mr. Whitworth.
Not at all, Mrs. Morley. I like to get out into the field now and again. It's nice to meet you, Congressman.
Whitworth?
Yes, I'll see myself out, Mrs. Morley.
Goodbye. See you in class.
Well, see? A few roses, a few bags of fertilizer, and in a few weeks you will have a veritable Garden of Eden.
I'm afraid it's going to take a little longer. You see, we need quite a few things.
So, what could it possibly come to?
It could come to about $300.
$300? We're supposed to be saving. Well, I guess if you need those things, you should have them.
Thank you.
Oh, Katy, this gardening of yours, it is fun, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great fun. I'm even looking around for another hobby.
Well, good, because everyone should have some sort of recreation.
Yeah. Next time for my recreation, maybe I'll paint the house.
Talk about snails.
Good, I've been expecting it.
Well, a state of war now exists between you and the snails. You must show no mercy.
I shall be ruthless and relentless.
Now, since we cannot poison every inch of ground, we must learn to think as a snail does. You must now imagine yourself a ravenous snail.
I will do my best.
Do you like geraniums?
Oh, yeah, of course. They're very pretty.
But you're a snail now, remember?
Oh, I forgot. I hate geraniums.
Because of their bitter taste. Algerian ivy.
I think I like it.
Oh, you cannot get enough of it.
I could eat an acre of it.
You take this, you find where the snails are eating, and you poison them.
But if I myself am a snail...
But you're a hostile snail who despises every other snail.
That does simplify things, psychologically.
You're a ravenous snail and you want to be the only one left in the world.
Is this really part of the course?
Sure. Oh, wait till you get to be an undernourished gopher with suicidal tendencies.
Oh, I can hardly wait.
How goes it at home?
Fine.
Even for a snail, that's not very convincing.
Well, Glen bought a new set of golf clubs.
What did I tell you? Now, if you don't spend it, Katy, he will.
And then when I told him I needed some new equipment for our garden...
You were wildly extravagant. Oh, Katy, when are you gonna wise up and play the game?
You really mean it, don't you?
Of course I really mean it. Now, the next chance you get, you go frail female on that man.
How do you propose I go frail female?
Well, for example, you're washing a window. The elbow goes. Well, I mean, you pretend it goes.
And you cry out in pain.
Oh, no, nothing that hammy. No, you just wince a little. Then you smile bravely and go back to work. And he says, oh, darling, your elbow must be just killing you. That is the last window you will ever wash in this house. And it is.
Oh, I couldn't do that.
Oh, yes, you can, Katy. Just try it once.
I couldn't.
Listen, you have no idea how sneaky you can be if you just put your heart in it.
That's the key. My heart wouldn't be in it.
Look, if you can pretend to be a snail, why not a rat?
Working pretty hard.
Well, to tell you the truth, I don't know whether I'm numb or just getting used to it. How was the golf?
Oh, you know, good for contacts, that sort of thing.
Not much fun.
Well, it's fair exercise.
Well, I could tell you where you could get a lot of exercise.
Oh, yes, yes, I imagine.
Hey, Dad.
Oh, hello, Steve. How is everything?
Well, you keep asking me that. Everything's okay.
Good, good.
Oh, there's a guy out front delivering your new suits.
Just put them in the hall closet, please, Steve.
I did it again, huh?
What colors are they?
Oh, well, one was a brown herringbone, the other was an Oxford gray.
You look very well in Oxford gray.
Katy, I really did have to have those suits. I mean, I can't appear on the floor of Congress in a sweatshirt, can I?
I don't see why not. It would dramatize the war on poverty.
Well, what's the matter? You sprain your ankle?
No, it's just my leg. It fell asleep.
Are you sure you didn't sprain it?
Well, I could have.
Let me hold it. Take a couple of steps. And you see, it does hurt.
A little, yes.
Here. Let me just feel that ankle.
Well, if it is sprained, it will take a few minutes before it swells.
Is that tender?
Oh, it is a little.
Oh, Katy, you could have really hurt yourself. Now, I'm sorry, but this work is just too much for you. I'm going to hire a gardener.
Oh, no, Glen.
No, I really am. I mean it.
But you said we cannot afford a gardener.
Don't worry about that. I'll manage somehow. We just have to.
It's really nothing at all.
Don't try to stand at it, but give me your arm. You are going to go right back to having a gardener, and that is that.
Well, you say so, Glen.
Well, I'm glad to see you joined the club, Katy. That sprained ankle ploy worked just fine.
Well, I did not plan it. It just happened.
Your conscience will only bother you a very short time.
Clemmy, you are a cynic.
A rather well-dressed cynic, don't you think? How do you like the new outfit?
It's very lovely.
I've been concentrating on my daytime outfits. We go out so seldom in the evenings anymore.
Why?
Well, George usually works late. And then he can't get away when we're supposed to go someplace. Or else he's just tired.
Earning all that extra money?
Yes, but the point is that when he does get home, he does not find an exhausted wife.
But you find an exhausted husband.
Well, if it helps you live better.
I don't think it's better. But anyway, I've got to tell Glen the truth about my ankle.
And blow the whole game? Katy, what's the matter? Don't you want a gardener?
Not as much as I want a husband to spend my evenings with.
Les, you've been pacing up and down all day like a caged cobra.
Cobra's pace?
I know cliches. Something bothering you?
Yes, you might say I'm somewhat bothered by a hurting conscience.
What about it?
Well, I sort of told Katy kind of a half lie.
What is a kind of a half lie?
I explained to her that my golf clubs had been on order for some time when actually I bought them on impulse.
What would you call a kind of a whole lie?
All right, I told a lie. And then, of course, there's the business with the new suits. What I think I'd better do is just tell Katy the truth.
Huh, that's what I call a novel approach.
Good afternoon.
Hello, Katy.
Well, how was school today?
Well, today I was a wireworm with a split personality.
Katy, I want to talk to you about my 2 new suits.
I know you needed them, and I apologize for what I said.
I also want to tell you about my golf clubs.
I'm sure you got a wonderful bargain. Glen, I've got to tell you something about my ankle.
Is that still bothering you?
It never did.
Well, that's what you say, sure, but I could see the pain in your face.
I'll get it.
I want to tell you about my 2 new suits in the golf
Glen,
club.
I've got to tell you
I was
something.
going past this little...
Please, let me...
Package for Mrs. Morley.
Thank you very much. Now, please, I want to explain what happened.
Package?
Yeah, it's for your mother,
Oh?
Mrs. Morley. Now, please let me tell you
There
what...
happens to be more than one Mrs. Morley around here.
Well, I still forget her. Oh, Glen, it's gorgeous.
It was kind of cute and everything, I thought.
Oh, thank you, darling. What is it for?
What do you mean? It's for those chilly evenings when...
Well, it's not my birthday or our anniversary or anything.
No, it's, oh, I don't know, just sort of a no special occasion gift.
That's marvelous.
You really think so?
Oh, I certainly do. Because there are at least 350 no special occasion days every year.
Katy!
In here.
What on earth are you doing?
Oh, the woodwork needed washing.
Well, cease and desist. I want you good and rested. We are going out this evening.
Oh, my new jacket and I can hardly wait.
Oh, by the way, there is a young man out there who's been asking for you.
Oh, who is he?
Why don't you just go out and see?
Mrs. Morley, I'm Al Brewster.
How do you do?
Fine, thank you. Where do you want me to start?
Start?
The garden.
I'm afraid there must be some mistake. We did not hire a gardener.
The congressman hired me. Through Mr. Whitworth. I used to be in one of his classes.
You too?
I, too, was a ravenous snail.
And an undernourished gopher?
Right, but it's helping me work my way through college.
Well, there's plenty of work to be done around here.
Good, just tell me where to begin.
Well, the roses need pruning.
I love them. but I shall be their master.
Oh, Glen, you shouldn't have.
I love you, but I am your master.
Maybe so, but I don't want you taking on any extra work. I want you to spend your evenings with me.
No arguments, but I think we'll manage. Incidentally, the economy kick is all over.
Oh, it is?
By all means. What with your gardening school tuition at $75, another $300 for the tools and equipment, well,
Yes?
economy is a luxury we simply cannot afford.
Saturday at 6 Eastern, an American television legend returns. It's James Arness as Marshal Matt Dillon in Gunsmoke. That's tomorrow at 6 Eastern. Now stay with us for the Patty Duke Show next on CBN.